What's up guys, Americana back here with another video. You might find the perfect altcoin, but if you buy it at the wrong part of the cycle, you will lose money. You don't need to know the next 100x coin, you just need to know the phase of the cycle that can turn any altcoin into easy profits. Today, we're going to get into why that's important. Let's get into the video. So let's dive into the chart. Up top, we have Bitcoin in the candles, and we have XRP in the red here. One thing to keep in mind is there's a lot of altcoins, obviously, that haven't even performed as well as XRP. Just to kind of show you the different phases of the cycle in a way that's easy to digest with a coin whose chart you're familiar with, we're going to show XRP here. Obviously, at the start of the cycle, Bitcoin is always going to run the show. It is always going to be the first one out, the best performer, while things like XRP, even though being a strong coin, remain flat. So if you're doing a bunch of research on what coin to buy, and in here, on the XRP chart right here, you say, hey, I found the next 100x whatever coin, the next utility play, and you buy in here, depending on the chart, XRP happened to hold, but you can still get bled out before you ever actually get to see your thesis play out. It would have been better all throughout here to simply buy Bitcoin and wait for more macro triggers, right, before you entered that specific altcoin. This phase where altcoins bleed sideways, down, sideways, flat, while Bitcoin and Ethereum and other majors take off, lasts way longer than anybody ever expects. We're still going through that right now, which is why when I say alt season is here, people will hop in the comments and be like, no, it's not. I'm still getting bled on all of these coins. Well, we haven't entered the exact phase where maybe those specific coins have taken off, right? This phase lasts a lot longer than people think. During this time, it's better to buy Bitcoin and do research on coins that you think will outperform, right? It doesn't mean you hop in right away once you have conviction on the actual coin or the utility or the project or whatever, but you actually wait for more macro confirmations, like I said, before getting into that coin. And this is essentially going to be the difference between you being a bag holder and 10x profits. The entire first 3/4 of this cycle, we're just now seeing for the first time this cycle, Bitcoin dominance actually turn over. But for the entire first part of the cycle, nothing outperforms Bitcoin. Nothing. Even through all of these little mini alt seasons we had, right? If I pop over to like a total 2, even these little mini alt seasons right here, nothing seriously outperformed Bitcoin. And so it doesn't benefit us at all to be in these coins in these flat stages and things like that. Obviously, some of these majors are a little bit different in the sense of you do want exposure down here because they do tend to get out a little bit early, like we see with an XRP, like we see with a Solana, like we see with a SUI or something like that. But for a majority of the coins, they are not going to see appreciation in price until we get these things rolling over. We're kind of at the phase of the cycle where you can really buy any single altcoin and it's going to do well. But I do want to reiterate this point because it's been a long journey to get here. Everybody's a fan of me now because I'm screaming for alt season. I'm preaching it. I'm showing charts that signify that alt season is here / coming up and things like that. But you guys need to understand that in the bear market and for the beginning of next cycle, I'm going to be very focused on Bitcoin and major altcoins only. And when I say major, I mean like Ethereum, Solana, XRP, right? Like top 5 altcoins. And so I don't want you guys to get confused when you're like, hey, this guy was posting about alt season this and altcoins this and all that. There's a time and a place, and throughout every phase of this market, we're going to be preaching something else on what actions you should be taking during those times. So yes, we are moving out of this phase and we are moving into something more typical of a normal alt season where most coins will do well. But I do want you to understand what it took to get here and what we're going to be preaching throughout the bear market and next cycle. Anyways, guys, I appreciate all the love, all the support. I'm going to be posting a lot more long form content. I'm actually switching up my workflow and how I'm going to operate when it comes to like the channel and my other pages and things like that, where I really do want to focus on the long form content. I feel like the people who enjoy these style of videos, who sit down and will watch a YouTube video 5-10 minutes long on some research, some more in-depth analysis is kind of my target audience, as opposed to some of that short form content that I've been focusing on where I dive into like heavy analysis or something very analytical. People scrolling by, right? They just want the hype. They just want to know kind of what's happening that day. They don't really care about any overarching like macro thesis or ideas or analysis within the crypto market. So good news for you guys, those of you who already enjoy the long form content, you can expect a lot more. I'm going to be focusing on heavy, and I have some huge things planned for this channel, just in general, over the next coming, years, however long it's going to take to get to the point where I think my content deserves to be. But I appreciate you guys for being here early. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.